and welcome to episode 8 of the FQ show. We have a really special show today celebrating the Female Football Week, and I'm your host Tash, and I'm joined with Ray and Kate. Hey ladies, how are you?
Hi. Good, how are you?
Kate is our manager of participation in the women's and girls, and Ray is our Football Australia Women's Technical Advisor, Junior Matilda's head coach and QS mentor. That's a tongue twister.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, isn't it?
Yeah. Welcome. Can you tell us a little about yourself, Kate?
Yeah, sure. So I've been here at Football Queensland for about a year now, or almost a year, and really enjoying it. Came from a bit of a teaching background, so was doing that for a couple of years, and also sort of simultaneously working in the club space at Grange Thistle, and was there helping to build the women and girls program. Got our first competitive women's team up and running, and was focused on building our number of junior girls playing as well. So it was a really exciting time, and through that just made a few contacts, I guess, with Football Queensland, and got a tap on the shoulder from Dan Birrell, and he's, I guess, responsible for me. That was really exciting, and explained to me what this role was, and it was a bit of a dream come true. So really excited to be working in this space at the moment, especially with the World Cup around the corner next year. Really enjoying it.
Yeah, good to have you on board. And Ray, you've been part of the woodwork for so long. Tell the viewers who may not know your history, a little bit about you, but where to start, I suppose.
Oh, look, I was a young girl in the northern suburbs of Brisbane and fell in love with the game, and so I'm entering my 46th year of football involvement.
Wow.
It's funny you talk about Grange Thistle, because back in the days my foundation football was at North Star Sports Club, and that was the big rival. And little fact check there, but Julie Dower, the number 1 Cap Matilda, actually played it for Grange Thistle way back then. We had some great rivalry in the early days. I played for as long as my body would allow me to.
Yeah.
And sort of made my way into coaching, accidental coach really. I didn't sort of plan to say I was going to be a coach when I finished my playing days, but just fell in love with that as well. And as I said, 46 years on, I'm still madly, passionately in love with football, and doing my best to get around the country and unearth the next generation of CommBank Matildas.
Yeah, that's great. So what is Female Football Week? Female Football Week is a nationwide initiative aimed at promoting female participation and celebrating the contribution that women and girls have on all aspects of our game. And Football Queensland held our Female Football Week from the 6th of May to the 13th of May, and thought it was no better way to start that week off with including it with Mother's Day. On today's show, we'll be speaking about 3 main pillars in female football: build, enhance, and celebrate. Our first main pillar, build, is building our game, increasing female participation, involvement, and investment. So Ray, in the years that you've been involved in the game, how have you seen the game grow?
Yeah, wow. I mean, let's be honest. It has grown immensely. Even the last 5 years, if we think about the last 5 years, the game has grown exponentially, not only here in Queensland and Australia, but across the world. And it's great to see. But with a growth mindset, you're wanting to constantly improve and continue to be better, and we still have a long way to go, and I think that this is that the 3 pillars is a really great reflection on the state of women's football in our country, and I think that there's some really great opportunities for everybody. It's everyone's responsibility. It's not just the women in the game. It's not just the the people that we have to continually go to, please. It's got to be actually recognised, and people are proactive about actually investing and putting, the ability for all to play the game and all to be fans of the game, to be whatever they want in the game. I think the biggest thing is that the inclusive aspect of our game and the ability for it to be equally represented. And we've got some really lofty ambitions at Football Australia. I know we've got those same lofty ambitions here at Football Queensland, and together everyone needs to play their role, and together everyone can help increase this game to the lofty heights that it really deserves in this country. We know where it sits around the rest of the world, but in this country it's got a fabulous opportunity and a platform to really take that top position in people's hearts and minds and around the country. So
yeah, for sure. So okay, what initiatives is Football Queensland doing to grow the game?
Yeah, so Ray touched on the fantastic growth that we've seen over the last few years and since the inception of women's football. But we really want to continue to grow the game and continue to see that rise in participation in the women and girls space. So our focus at the moment is on our Girls United programs, which we're really excited about. We've piloted a few of them and they've been really successful. So our Mini Roos kick-off Girls United program in schools was fantastic. We engaged 7 schools and clubs that saw over 200 girls between the age of 4 and 11 participate. So that was really exciting and really wonderful to see. And I guess just shows that there is like a massive demand for it and that we do have young girls who do want to get involved in the game. We've also seen pilots of our social football programs in Bundaberg, Hervey Bay and in Brisbane that have been wonderful. So those programs are targeted more towards our 16 plus and are a lower key social and fun, engaging and really inclusive environment for women to join football. So they might have never played before, they might have played a while ago and stopped playing sport and really missing it, but potentially don't have the time to commit to that traditional format of football. So it's a really exciting program that we've seen a lot of success with. We're also really keen to pilot soccer mums as a part of Girls United, where we look to engage mums at the same time as their children are training. So instead of sitting on the phone or in the car, we really want them to get up, get engaged and have a run around while the kids are training, and of course they're supervised, so it's not something to worry about in that sense. So we've seen some fantastic success with that program down in Victoria, and hopefully we can have some success up here with that. I'm sure we can. And yeah, I guess we really want to see clubs get involved, but we also really want to see individuals coming on board to facilitate these programs. It takes a lot of people to get involved and get behind initiatives like this. So we need facilitators and coaches to be involved, whether they've got experience or not. We just need enthusiasm. So I guess I'd direct people to jump on the website and check out the opportunities to become a facilitator in our Girls United space, as well as clubs and individuals who might be keen to host programs or participate in programs.
Yeah, that sounds great. Soccer Mum sounds like a great program. Is that? Do you say there's something coming up with that, or?
We haven't got one locked in just yet, but we're looking at clubs who potentially would be keen to run one. We know that it can be absolutely successful, so I think it'd be really exciting to get one off the ground. Yeah,
so if you're interested, clubs, give Kate a message.
Whiz me an email or jump online and you'll be able to see the info there and how to sign up. So we're really excited for that one.
Yeah, that would be great.
Shout out there to the great Jen Wilmot, if you're listening, who piloted that the original project in Victoria. Yeah. So was our Junior Matildas team manager for a number of years. So working with the FIFA team at the moment. But yeah, it's a great program, really great program, and engages a whole lot of women who have never ever played before.
But very involved.
Oh, so much fun. So much fun.
Yeah, it's a great initiative. Yeah, for sure. Ray, with the Women's World Cup coming to Australia next year, you've been involved in the past 4.
I've been a participant, a fan from 2007 in China. 2011, I took a team actually. 2007, 2011, we took teams from Queensland here to go over and play against local university teams and local club teams, and we actually wrapped that in around the Matildas game. So
wow,
2007 and 2011
been a really great trip.
Was awesome. Some shout out to some of the players who are still kicking around actually from from China and then from Germany. And then 2015 I was in Canberra, and we put together the Canberra United Academy team with some of the Football New South Wales players, and we went to Canada, did the same sort of thing there with like an under-18 team, and then in 2019 in France, I went just purely as a fan, just my sister and I, and we travelled for 6 weeks around France and Switzerland and Italy, and it was awesome. So looking forward to next year immensely.
Yeah, is any trips planned for next
Well,
year?
I don't know. I'm taking bookings. You never know. But look, what's so exciting for me around the World Cup is the opportunity for people in our country to actually see an entire country get absorbed by the event. You know, if we can think back, this is the biggest thing that's happened in Australia in terms of an event since the Sydney 2000 Olympics.
Yeah.
And, you know, part of the legacy that, you know, we want to be able to leave is that 20 years after this World Cup, so in 2043, people are still talking about the Women's World Cup. And people who maybe aren't a real fan of the sport, they will not be able to help to get caught up in the atmosphere, to get caught up in the songs, the dancing, just the absolute the jovial nature, the banter, all of the above, and they won't be able to help to but get caught up in it and get swept up in it. And I really believe that there's a lot of people that are going to watch the World Cup, attend a match, attend lots of the FIFA festivities that will happen all around the country as well. Like there'll be fan zones set up. You know, if you can't get a ticket, you can still watch it together, just like we've done previously when the Matildas and the Socceroos were on the other side of the world. But to have that happen in our own backyard, I can't wait for friends and family who actually every time the World Cup comes around, they don't understand the parochialism. They'll get it. They'll actually, the penny will finally drop for them, and they'll go, that's what all the fuss is about. And for me, I'm so excited about that. Really,
I completely agree, and I think as well the opportunity, like as you said, to expose our game to so many new people. Like we saw what happened in France, like their participation numbers just went through the roof afterwards. And, of course I've got my participation hat on, but, where, France and Europe is obviously football mad already. And we're a country where we've got such a vast range of sports and some sports that are potentially more popular in certain areas of our country. So to see, our game exposed to more people in Australia and to see more people fall in love with it is just the most exciting thing. And I cannot wait to see how, we as, sporting organisations and clubs individually and, everyone just takes advantage of that opportunity and leverages it to, provide more opportunities for our women and girls to play and engage in our game. It's so exciting.
And people want it. Everyone's talking about it already. People want it. They want to volunteer. How can we help? How can we be involved? So I know the FIFA team that in conjunction with Football Australia and also Football New Zealand over there, that everyone's working really hard together to try to get that all out. So hang in there, guys. There'll be lots of information coming very soon about how to engage, how you can engage with your local football club, your local community. How
to get involved.
Yeah, and look, I know that teams are already starting to come out to Australia and inspect venues and check and see where they're going to stay. We've got countries sort of coming over here all the time and checking to see where they're going to be based, and if we get Brisbane, where we're going to stay and where can we train and all that kind of stuff. So. If the rain stops anytime soon, we might be able to show them a little bit about the Sunshine State. But
for sure. Yeah, it's not the Sunshine State at the moment.
No, we don't want the England fans and the England team feeling too at home, the rainy weather.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's very interesting that you say that. I feel like when there's a big event like that, you don't normally think about what happens before the tournament for teams to come over and check out venues. You just see what's, they come to the stadiums. You don't really realise that they come and inspect the fields prior to them coming over here, and accommodation, even though that's a really important part of their game, sleep's important, nutrition's important, etc. So that's an interesting part that I don't think a lot of people would have considered.
There's a lot of planning and preparation that goes into it. It's not obviously, it's not the leading players or even sometimes the coaching staff. That's what dedicated to managers around the team and the high performance team, and there's a lot of people that are tasked. Have been doing it sort of for a number of events, a number of tournaments, and they're really well versed at being able to plan ahead and see, what suits them kind of best.
Yeah.
I think it's a good opportunity as well to sort of highlight the facilities that we do and don't have, I guess, in the country, and the work that still needs to be done to provide spaces for not only these opportunities when world class teams come and visit, but just for our under sixes and our everyone that's kicking about, and making sure that we do have fantastic facilities and just acceptable facilities everywhere, which we know is a big issue with a lot of our clubs still developing that.
And that's actually really crucial. You talk about the little ones, the sixes and stuff. That's actually the really crucial aspect, and I think where the World Cup can launch kids falling in love with football, and there is so many sports of choice, as you said, Kate, and I think that's the the really big thing. Can we, I call it getting your hooks in. Can you get your hooks into the kids when they're 5, 6 and 7, so they fall in love with the game, and then it doesn't matter what other sports kind of thrown at them. They're football, they want to be in football, and that's so crucial. Every one of us again has a part to play in that, to help the kids, give them great experiences and help them fall in love with the game at such a young age, and that they'll never leave.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. It's such an accessible game, so we just need the venues and
change rooms and facilities.
A rebuilt office. Shout out to the fabulous studio that Connor's put together, Bravo, at the back of a dilapidated building.
Yeah, it's literally a construction site.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it. He's done a very good job.
Bravo, Connor.
what goes on behind the camera, hey?
Yeah.
It falls really good into our second pillar, enhance. So enhance our game with more opportunities for women and girls, and develop them as players, coaches, referees and leaders. So what are we looking to do to enhance leaders in our game?
Well, I think Ray touched on it really, really well there, in terms of getting our hooks into our younger players, and building that love really early. But I think the other end of that is making sure that we've got really fantastic visibility and representation of women in leadership roles as coaches, referees, administrators, CEOs. That's absolutely vital, and something that I'm super passionate about. I know you are both as well. And within that, I guess, Girls United program as well, we've got a leadership program that I'm really excited about. Again, we piloted a similar program last year that went really well, and it looks to enhance the number of refs and coaches that we have, with basically a one-day course where the girls get to go through mini Roos coaching course and a mini refs course, and it's in a female-only environment, making that nice inclusive environment for girls and making it a little bit more comfortable, and it's super exciting. I think if we can get our that program's targeted at our 12 to 16-year-olds, I think if we can get girls of that age hooked into our game in ways more than just playing, then they're less likely to leave the game. They realise that they can earn money through the game, that they can volunteer in our game, that it's bigger than just them as an individual. And I think the more girls we see come through that program and through other coaching and refereeing courses, the more visibility there is, the more representation there is. And so when our young ones do come on board, they see themselves up there on that stage, and it's definitely super important.
Yeah, look, absolutely. And I think the visibility that you've spoken of, that's really key. And we've already seen, when you talk about what's happened in the last 5 years, well, the visibility of players now on the TV, so young girls and young boys can actually see females playing at a really high level. I think that's really important for young boys to see that that it isn't just for them, that they can celebrate the achievements of women playing as well. I think that's really important. Young girls can see them as role models, can look I want to be just like Tash Wheeler without the sore knee when I grow up. You know what I mean? It's really, really important. And so and exactly what you said, Kate, about let's try to elevate the role of more women in the game, so in more decision making roles. One of the pillars of the Our Game strategy as part of the legacy for the Women's World Cup next year from Football Australia is elevating coaches as leaders. So if we can get more coaches involved in the game, have people recognise that have a really great leadership role within the game, then we're elevating more leaders, front and centre. As you said, more CEOs front and centre. The club presidents, the club secretaries that are doing all the work behind the scenes to make sure the players can get on the park every weekend. I think it's really important to recognise that women play all sorts of roles in football. It's not just, the tuck shop convener, which is what's kind of, a very stereotypical look at women in the game. And I think there's some really great initiatives and some really great projects that are being done all the way around the country, and certainly FQ are leading that space in a number of ways as well.
Yeah, no, and I think Sam Kerr being having the success she has recently is putting herself in the light and showing the girls this is possible.
It really helped this week, didn't it? I mean, that was I've seen
2 cracker goals.
I've actually seen people this week talk about women's football who and write about and had never spoken about before.
Yes.
But even news outlets who recognise the significance of the 2 goals, the winning championship. All those things, I've never ever seen some news outlets or people talk about it at all. But what a wonderful wonderful advertisement for females, at the top of their game as well.
It's moments like that you really feel it. Hey,
you
see it and you're like, oh my god, it's actually happening.
And kudos to her because she's done a lot of work to get there. So
for sure,
she's really dining out on the back of some hard work and some great talent, of course, but some great determination to get herself to where she is too.
Yeah, I think I saw a stat from her. It was 20 appearances, 20 goals, 4 assists
for this season,
which is massive. So
I think it's the first time someone's hit 20 goals 2 years in a row, like her winning Golden Boot last year and this year. So so well done, Sam. You're going to have after this weekend. She's got a big game this weekend.
Yep.
The FA Cup final.
Yep.
Is on this weekend, and then she's coming home for a holiday. So
well deserved.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's just exciting to see the news outlets and what possibly they could do when the World Cup's here. When there's a lot more football on show.
Absolutely.
What they'll be talking about then.
Absolutely. Super exciting.
So Ray, tell us about the opportunity you took to begin your coaching career.
So again, that was kind of really I was doing a teaching degree, so as part of some of my all teachers, you get roped into. So I was teaching, then I had to take on school teams. So so I got on my bus license, and I used to take the team. I did a lot of coaching at All Hallows.
Yeah.
A lot of teaching at All Hallows in Brisbane here. So that's kind of how it started. And literally, when I was at a club, we didn't have a coach, so we were at the old First Division, which is now the NPL.
Yeah.
The old First Division here in Brisbane, and I was a player. We couldn't get a coach, and so I said, okay, I'll kind of do it. I'd done my level 2 in the old days, my level 2 coaching. We did that as part of playing for Queensland. That was something that, Fred Robbins and Jim Selby at the time was the technical director of Football Queensland, and so I'd done some coaching courses, but I actually never really thought of coaching. Coaching and post. You think you're going to play forever, right?
Yeah.
As a player, you're always going to play forever. And then the opportunity came about. Really, again, there was a vacancy in the Queensland, one of the Queensland youth teams, and I was sort of asked, did you want to do that? So after being kind of player coach for Brisbane and at state championships where I had people like Mel Andrada was my captain, so playing and training with all those kind of people, and we just kind of did you want to do this? And it was like, oh, okay, and it was just like, oh, okay. I just sort of, dealing with parents and all that kind of stuff.
It's
extra.
Different dynamic, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But anyway, that's sort of how it came, and then the opportunity to continue on, and I just wanted to learn more, to develop more, to be better, and to continually practice my craft and get better at the craft. And so, went through, did all my badges, and the next thing you know, I had an opportunity to go to Canberra to be in the W League, and I couldn't get that opportunity here in Brisbane, so I went to Canberra. 5 months turned into 4 years. Had some really successful days with Canberra United.
Yeah.
Some great fond memories there, and returned home to Brisbane, and again there's a vacancy for the Junior Matildas head coach. So
yeah, that's a great opportunity.
I thought I'd throw my hat in the ring, and really loving that space, loving the work, loving the staff that I work with, loving seeing the players come through, another generation of players coming through, and when they make their Matilda's debut, it's really rewarding, and I find the job really rewarding, and the opportunity to influence young people and sort of help them on and off the pitch, and is a really rewarding experience.
So what are we doing to make sure the next generation also has the opportunities for the coaching opportunities that you had?
Yeah, so one of the things that we do with the Football Queensland QAS girls program is that the players actually go through, and just like you were saying before with the Girls United, a 1 day kind of thing, they do that in 2 bits. So they'll actually get through and do their mini roos certificate, and the grassroots, for the older ones, get the grassroots certificate, and we also get them to do like a level 4 as well. So that sort of alternates over the last few years, the last 3 years of the program. We've had a number of girls come through and to do that, and it might just ignite a spark in some of them to go on and think, oh, actually, man, I really love playing, but I don't. Maybe realistically, maybe I'm not going to be a Matilda one day, but I can still play. But wow, I can still be a coach. I can be a referee. We've had a number of players, over the years that have gone on and finished studies, and they're now physios. So now they can actually come back as a physio and work back in with the national teams unit. So I think there's the opportunity again just to highlight so many different roles that you can play. There's only so many players that can actually wear the green and gold as a player and be a Matilda and go to a World Cup. So it doesn't mean to say if that's not you that you can't still be involved in the game, and that's something I think that's really important, that we continue to spread that message and give all players as many opportunities to stay in the game for as long as they can.
That's me. That was me. I was just saying before that it took me way too long to realise that I wasn't going to be a Matilda. It took playing in the same team as Ish Nori. I'm a 10, she's a 10. Yeah. And me sitting on the bench and going, yeah, okay, no, I'm not that good. Yeah, she deserves to be out there for 9 minutes. I don't get any game time. That's absolutely acceptable. And it took me until that moment to realise that, at I think 18 or 19 it was, that I wasn't going to be a Matilda, but I found my passion in developing the game and growing the game and coaching and refereeing and becoming an administrator. So I think, I guess exposing girls to that a little bit earlier, and hopefully we will see more people take on roles like that.
You don't want to be a dream killer either, right? I don't think you weren't the dream killer either.
No, but you never know.
You pursued as long as you could,
Of course.
I think that's a really important aspect, because self-reflection and self-regulation is important, and if you get at the highest level, it is really important. So if you've had that self-reflective moment when, I think it's not going to be for me, at least you've, the passion and the love that you have for the game kept you in, and you're doing great stuff
and
with
I'll
the next
generation. I'll play until I can't.
And do that with those shoes. I'm not quite sure.
Absolutely, no, we'll make it work.
No, I agree. I mean, being able to pass your knowledge on to the juniors at Grange would also just give you some affirmation, passing on your knowledge that you both have onto the juniors that are coming through.
Yeah, it's just super rewarding, I guess, to see them light up and learn and grow as individuals is I realised far more satisfying than going through it myself. I probably didn't have the work ethic to do it myself, but to inspire that in other people is really rewarding and I think really important, and I hope we see more people take on responsibility like that as we grow the game.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. As part of Female Football Week, we issued every club some stats regionally and state-wise. What did we do there, Kate?
Yeah, so we sent out an infographic to each club in our state that reflected their current registered player numbers, registered volunteer numbers and registered coaching numbers, and displayed that, comparing them to the average within their own region, as well as the state average numbers across each of those categories. We thought it was just a really great opportunity to celebrate some of that growth that we have been talking about, and acknowledge some of the clubs that are doing fantastic things in this space, as well as giving clubs an opportunity to reflect and have a look at the areas that they potentially do need to work on or do want to continue developing in. And I think it was a really great initiative, and really, the feedback has been pretty positive so far in terms of it being informative, and we've seen a lot of clubs celebrating that online and sharing that graphic, which has been really great to see. I guess, one of the things that we will look to do moving forward is also look at the percentages of female versus male numbers at the clubs, so that our smaller clubs can see, well, we might only have 47 girls at our club, but we're a small club with one field and we've only got 53 boys, so we're almost at that 50-50 parity, which is fantastic. So we definitely don't want to detract from the work that some of our smaller clubs are doing, but we did want to acknowledge the fantastic efforts in some of the clubs across the state in both metropolitan and regional areas, which has been really excited to see. There's some clubs doing fantastic things in terms of leadership and volunteers, women in those roles. It's actually been quite overwhelming to go through that and have a look and see how fantastic it is. And then clubs doing fantastic things in the participation, like player participation space as well. Yeah.
No, it would be a really good graphic to see. I mean, when you're in your own club, you know how many you might know how many women are in this space, but how does that compare to other people in your region? You won't know. So that would be great to see.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it just gave clubs an opportunity to sort of see where they're at, and also sort of flagged. We've had a few conversations with clubs about their numbers not quite reflecting ours, and some great conversations have been had around like the registrations through Play Football and like the importance of recording that data, not just for our purposes and for the purpose of this infographic, but on that larger scale. It's so important that these players, volunteers and coaches are registered properly, because then we're able to see a more accurate reflection of the landscape in Queensland. And I think that's really valuable when it comes to our reporting, as well as funding and opportunities through the government. It's really, really key that we know what's going on. So it's been a really good process, and I think one that we've definitely enjoyed being a part of.
And we'll continue to do.
Yeah, hopefully. I think it's definitely something that we can continue with into the future, and doing constant check-ins with clubs about where they're at and that reflection opportunity. And obviously, as we've been talking about with the World Cup next year, we're going to see a lot of changes in those numbers, I think. So it could be really, really great to see that side by side, year on year, that growth. So
yeah,
let's see that competitive spirit come out within the clubs,
Yeah.
to drive numbers forward, especially now if there's a bit of a metric, a bit of a, a barometer of where they want to go, then we can drive a little bit more competition, a bit competitive nature between clubs. You want a derby? I'll show you a derby. Here's our graphics. So.
Yeah, I love that. It does drive that competitive spirit. We have seen a bit of that. I think it also provides an opportunity for clubs to share their successes and collaborate. As much as we do want to see that healthy competition, it also provides a club that's in Bundaberg, for example, isn't necessarily competing with one of our far northern golf clubs. So sharing those resources, like what worked for you, this worked for us, this didn't work, this initiative was great. And I think we're looking at providing more opportunities for that networking as well, and hopefully that does help clubs to share. Obviously, we had our webinar last night that was an opportunity for that, and we'll continue to do that into the future. And absolutely, I love the spark of a healthy competition in that sense as well.
And the competition is one thing, but as you say, collaboration is really important. So to collaborate and for everyone to share their knowledge about what worked for them, it might just be something left field that you'd never quite thought of. But I think collaboration is definitely the key for us to continue to drive that forward. And you're right, celebrating those successes and the milestones and the validation for all the great work and the energy of the volunteers at the coalface in the clubs is really important. The validation to know that you're doing great things in your own local sporting community is pretty important.
Yeah, so much goes on behind the scene, and it's really good to celebrate those sort of achievements.
Shout out to all the volunteers. Big shout out to all the volunteers.
So many clubs would not be able to be run without them. So
absolutely.
That leads into our last pillar, celebrate our game. We celebrate our game, recognising the outstanding contributions of women's and girls across all aspects. As part of Female Football Week, we acknowledge winners across 6 categories, and we had over 200 nominations for these awards, which is a fantastic response.
Absolutely, reading through all of those was, I was genuinely tearing up.
Through all 200?
I actually did get through pretty much all of them.
Wow.
Yeah, we had a whole team of people working on it. But you know, I was doing a bit of a deep dive. That's something that, you know, I'm really passionate about, and reading some of the comments about the wonderful nominees genuinely had me tearing up. I'm a bit of a softie, it happens pretty often, but there were some beautiful comments that were in those nominations, so thank you to everyone that did submit a nomination, and to everyone that was nominated. Like, just know that you're so highly valued from your, like, by your community and by us.
Yeah, no, that's great to see. Congratulations to all those who were nominated, and especially to the winners we've already announced.
So, congratulations to the Female Coach of the Year, Katrina Appleton from Saints Eagles Souths in Northern, up in Townsville. Well done, congratulations.
And to our Female Player of the Year, Rebecca Emerson from Central FC in Gladstone. Congratulations.
Well done. And our Male Champion of the Year, Scott Giles from Redlands United. And I will just touch on, you know, the importance there of having, you know, fantastic men advocating for women and girls football. We wouldn't be able to make the progress that we've made without, you know, really fantastic people that are getting on board from all genders and backgrounds. I think it's really, as we were talking about before, a collaborative effort. And so, thanks, Scott.
Stay tuned on our FQ socials for the following awards: Female Referee of the Year, Female Administrator of the Year, and Female Club of the Year. And shout out to all those clubs who hosted their own events in celebration of Female Football Week. We had Redlands, who celebrated yesterday, today, tomorrow, including all females who contributed to their club. Ray, do you know much about that?
Yeah, unfortunately I missed my catch up and having a reunion with all my old teammates. On Saturday there I was in Sydney, but I hear and I've seen some great photos, and the club had a great day, celebrated, you know, from the beginning of the inception of women playing out at Redlands United, but all the way through. So, and a big shout out there to Jodie Preston, who is really driving the female football space out at Redlands United. Another former player, little former teammate, and coached that little ragamuffin, and she's now got a couple of little kids of her own. Her husband's still kind of playing out there. She's still playing out there with the Masters, and she's really driving that space, you know, to try to rejuvenate the Redlands United to be back to the mighty force that it was as the top of the pops here in Brisbane.
And Holland Park Hawks, of course, doing their yearly celebration that they tie in with Female Football Week, looking at their Small Steps for Hannah charity, which is a fantastic cause. So shout out to Holland Park Hawks for getting involved with that again.
And how did the webinar go last night?
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was really great to see so many faces there on Zoom with us, and great to chat to a few of our nominees for different awards for Female Football Week. It was a great chat, and we're looking forward to doing that more into the future, collaborating with clubs on content that they want to hear more about. So yeah, I think, I believe it was recorded as well. So if you want to check that out, there's some more information about Girls United that I've touched on tonight as well. So yeah, check it out.
And we have our Para Matildas playing up in their World Cup. Do you know much about this, Ray?
Yeah, like huge shout out the Para Matildas, the newest national team to Football Australia. I was lucky enough to be in Sydney last week and present the Para Matildas with their jerseys before they headed off to Spain. So yeah, Julie Dower and Moya Dodd and a few of the future Matildas from the Sydney group were there, and it was a nice surprise for the players. They didn't know, and it was really great. Some wonderful opportunities, did a little bit of media around that as well for the girls. So yeah, we sent them off with a bang, and they absolutely crushed it last night. Their first ever game at the World Cup, and they beat the Netherlands 12-0, and they're about to play their second match a little bit later on this evening against Japan. So wishing the girls all the best. It's a wonderful group. They've been together for about 2 years in the hope that they will finally become a reality, and for players with cerebral palsy, acquired brain injury, or symptoms of stroke. So they're really doing Australia proud and inspiring the nation, and really can't wait to see how they get on in their game later this evening.
Yeah, streaming wise, do you know where we can catch
Yeah,
them?
on the Football Australia YouTube channel.
Oh, great, perfect.
Yeah.
Talking about visibility, how important is it to just see like our athletes with disabilities on the world stage, and to finally be in a position where we're able to see that in the media, and it's absolutely fantastic. We engage with some of the variety activating inclusion sports days, and we get to throw something in the goodie bag, and I am so excited to throw Para Matilda's posters into the goodie bag. I just think for these kids to see athletes like them performing at this level is so wonderful and so important.
The girls individual, luckily enough, I've got to know a lot of them over the past year or so, and some of their individual stories are so inspiring. And it was wonderful the game was wonderful, their last game, which was their first match ever, don't forget, it's their very first match ever against an international opponent, and 12-0 against the might of the Dutch was amazing. But great scenes there too, seeing all the players all together, both teams all together, and nice, big celebration of the World Cup. And the Pararoos and the Para Matildas have got a few more games to go, hopefully, and bring home some great experiences, lifelong experiences. But also, fingers crossed they can get a few more wins as well, and bring home some sort of jewellery to add to their collection. So, well, if you've looked outside the window in the last couple of days, you might have noticed that we've had a little bit more wet weather, and unfortunately that has led to the complete cancellation of all games again this weekend. I know that means maybe another weekend locked up inside with the kids, screaming, and big dogs running around. But unfortunately, there's just way too much rain. The fields are already waterlogged, as we know. We're fingers crossed we don't get any more major flooding. So shout out to all those clubs that are probably biting all their fingernails off at the moment. And the roof is actually getting a lot of rain at the moment as well. So the games will, of course, all be moved to another catch-up round. So watch this space and stay tuned to the Football Queensland socials, and also to the website.
Yes, to FQ website to see when your games will be moved to. Thank you, ladies, for joining me on our Female Football Week edition of the FQ show.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thanks for having us. I'm so glad that I didn't have to, poke Callum either today. So, bye, Callum.